The Cincinnati Masters are over. Djokovic has won. Azarenka has won. We've also got the challengers. Alcaraz Garcia winning in Trieste. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
So, JG, we've had a cracking final there, the first one since we've come back, and I was sort of blown away by the quality, not only that we've had this week from the tournament, but in the final especially. I don't really know where to start in this match. I mean, do you want to take us from the off, or...?
I think we need to start with just talking about Djokovic, really. The people are going to be clicking on this video to know what our thoughts are on him and his achievement, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy what he's done. It looked like the chips were down in the match. He come through and has won again, and now he's won every Masters event twice.
It's incredible.
That's just inhuman at times. You just would never expect that to ever happen. Like, to win all the Masters once is a massive achievement. To do it twice is kind of unheard of. And fair play to Djokovic. That makes it now 35 Masters titles.
It's insane.
Joined with Rafa Nadal.
Yep.
So he's in good company there. I think Federer's a bit behind, but it just shows. Bit. And you'd fancy now Djokovic to push on from this, and it's just perfect timing, really, for the US Open. Hopefully his injury's not too bad.
He's done it all with a bad neck, hasn't he? And a bad stomach. So it doesn't bode well for people if he fixes those two things in the US Open.
Yeah, but let's get straight into the match. So Raonic come out the traps really fast. And he looked like the same Raonic we've seen for all of the week, really. He was just so commanding, so powerful. His net play in the past against Djokovic, obviously he's got a 0-10 record against him, was actually really good. And he was winning, I think it was like 80%, 90% of his points from the net, which is just unheard of against Djokovic. Because as we know, Djokovic is one of the best passers in the game. And if you put it onto his forehand and you're in the net, or even his backhand, to be fair, there's a good chance you're going to get past. And I was just so shocked seeing this level of play from Raonic and his just whole mentality and consistency in his shots. There was just a lack of unforced errors. I think he only made a handful of unforced errors.
I think it was two or something.
And Djokovic was just being pushed back, and he just couldn't get into the game. I don't personally buy that there was anything wrong with him in terms of his neck or anything at all in the final at all, because the way it didn't look like it was a case of he was struggling. It just looked like Raonic was hitting shots which were actually unreturnable. His serve was popping. His follow-up after his serve was ridiculous. And Djokovic was just being stifled. And at this point, there was a lot of people on my news feed on Twitter saying, how's Djokovic going to come back from this? But there's also that small section as well who just stand by Djokovic no matter what, and they believe in him. And they were saying, even when he was losing 6-1, he lost the first set 6-1, Djokovic will come back and win this in 3. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, it was fairly evident in that first set that Milos Raonic coming out the traps the way he did, and Djokovic just looked a bit out of sorts, really. He didn't have any answers in the first set. I think he was playing uncharacteristic shots. He was like trying to drop shots from the baseline that weren't working. I don't think he quite knew how to deal with Milos Raonic. Probably hasn't played a player like this in quite some time with that sort of power and accuracy. And it showed, like some of the stats, which you see was quite interesting from that first set. The first serve points that were won, which was Raonic was 80% and Djokovic only 56%. His first serve points won, and that was like the big stat from that first set, I think. And clear 6-1 win. Djokovic hit a few double faults as well, which gifted a break to Raonic, and I think that set, he couldn't do anything to really get into any of the games, any of Raonic's service games. That's credit to Raonic, really. So the second set, a bit more even. Like Djokovic came out more into the match, and he got it to 3-2 level on serve. And then finally you start to see getting it to juice. And that's when Djokovic strikes. He knows he's got the chance and he starts pushing then at that point. And I think as soon as he got that break, that was sort of the set done. He'd sort of got Raonic's number a little bit on that serve And one stat I wanted to, obviously we had the first set stats with the services and stuff. The second set stats with the services, Djokovic 80% of winning points behind his first serve. Raonic still consistent, 81%. But on second serve, this is the big stat from the second set. Raonic only 25% points won on second serve. Like, that is the stat.
And you've said it all there. That's literally what happened in the second set. Raonic was missing a lot more of his first serves and hitting too many second serves. And that just allowed Djokovic to get into the match. His second serve, don't get me wrong, is like a first serve of a lot of other players.
Oh.
But what was happening was, I noticed it was at 3-2 up, Djokovic. He was returning like the returning of what we know Djokovic is capable of. And he wasn't just returning them, he was returning them with a bit of interest on the shot. And that sort of made Raonic take a step back and think, oh, he started looking over the net and thinking, oh, I'm playing Novak Djokovic,
Yeah.
I think the first set, he was in his own bubble. He was very focused, just getting the job done, doing what he was doing. His first serve was going in. Second serve, when it started not to look as positive, you then start looking at who the opponent you're playing is. And when you've got Novak Djokovic the other side, someone you've played 10 times and never beaten, it did play a mental edge on him. And I started to see him going in himself a little bit. He was taking a little bit off the serves. He had a few double faults. And there was a lot of times where on his forehand, very comfortable shots where all week he's been hitting them as winners, let alone getting them over. They're going into like not even the top of the net, the middle of the net, bottom of the net. There was something, you could see it shifting big time. And at that point, you could fair to say that Djokovic had him beat, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, when he came into that, after that second set, he lost, and he came into the third, there was a little mini resurgence there from Raonic. He took the early break. He was 2-0 up. And then you're just thinking, oh, is Raonic now coming back? He's got showing the resolve. But then you really saw what Djokovic was made of once that break. It was like there was something just clicked inside him.
It's some of the highest level tennis I've seen. Like the returning is just sublime.
It was
Djokovic. Raonic was literally powering down 135 mile an hour serves into the tee, and he's just returning them out wide, literally touching the lines. And he's not just returning them; he's hitting it back at the other baseline. It's just ridiculous.
Well, the thing I noticed when he was obviously he broke to go 2-0, but then when you see someone like Djokovic get broken 2-0 in a final set, and the next game, Raonic was love 40 down on his own serve, and Djokovic breaks game to love, let's say. It was nice to throw that in there.
I tweeted it out. You see my tweet?
Yeah, I did. But from 2-2, he just started pushing Raonic around the court, and the passing shots he was doing were nothing short of astonishing. I was blown away by some of the shots he was putting out. And I thought the difference between Raonic's shots, he was playing, they weren't the best approach shots anymore. The first set, he was hitting it really hard and deep. Now there was, like you said, taking a little bit off some of it. It wasn't quite in the corner, and that just gives, and when he rushed the net, the ball's flying past him. He
stiffened up a lot and was making a lot more unforced errors. And it's just very uncharacteristic of what we've seen of Raonic throughout the whole tournament. But I do think the occasion did get to someone, even someone who's had a lot of experience in big tournaments. Obviously, he's not played for a bit now, but he's come back and he's playing some of the best tennis of his career. There's no doubt. You could arguably say this is the best he's played ever. You could talk about maybe 2018, he was on fire, but now he looks really good, in my opinion. But it was still that mental side. I feel like it is really difficult to beat a player when you know in the back of your mind you've never been able to beat this player.
Yeah, that for sure. I mean, and another thing as well, which is, he did manage to steal at 5-4 when Djokovic was serving for that. Yeah. He still got a break point as well, I mean, if he'd have grabbed that, we could have seen like some crazy end to the match. But Djokovic had the mental strength to see it through. I thought something that was really, I don't know why it's still happening. People walking around in the stands while players are playing. And there's about 50 people in the stand. Just sit down and stay still for 1 minute. You're there. You're in the privileged position to be there whilst there's a Masters 1000 final, and you're standing up and walking around. And there's no excuse for it. It's just irresponsible.
He was walking around. I didn't see.
There was one person, and it was in like vital games and stuff. This is like Raonic is trying his best to stay focused in these games, and you've got people who are probably part of the whole tournament or part of either crew walking around. I mean, just sit down, sit still, set an example. Jeez. That just wound me up.
Very passionate about this, Ben.
It wound me up in the Murray match as well, remember? Just sit down. There's no reason for these people to be walking around at all.
All right.
Yeah, you've got to anyway. Yeah, it just winds me up so much. Like, they don't do it when there's a big stand of people, or at least those people probably don't. So why are they doing it now when there's an empty stand? Oh God, don't. That type of thing is just, if you're going to play behind closed doors, you might as well have no one there. If there's going to be people walking around during points, just get rid of everybody then, and just have the coaches there, because at least they can sit still. Yeah, just during points. Like, it's just not even too much to ask. Just for one game, just stay still.
Yeah, even that though, I don't think that would have stopped Djokovic in the form he was in.
No, it wouldn't have stopped
the way he was playing. Did you see his lob specifically? That shot was just next level.
I'd lost count, mate, of all the shots that were just flying off his racket. I'm going to try and include a few of these just whilst we're speaking, so that you guys can see the standard. I picked out a few like special shots from the match, and they were incredible. Like some from Raonic as well. He obviously had his moments too, but Djokovic really just stole the show. And just to hear, like, I think one of the key points when he got the break at, I think it was 3-2 in the final set, and you hear the roar that came out of him there, like, finally I'm ahead in this match.
Yeah, and Djokovic.
And you could see how much it really meant to him. That was from deep within. I think he is fighting a lot of problems. Yeah. And I think that showed it. So, yeah, fair play to him. And congratulations.
He's a true champion, man. And that makes it now 23-0, I believe, for the season. So.
It's incredible. What a guy.
Yeah, on to the other winner. On the women's side, we had Azarenka. That's a bit of a shock result, really. Granted, she didn't get to play the final because Osaka withdrew. I think it was a hamstring was playing up. She had a little injury from the previous match against Mertens. But fair play to Azarenka. It turns out now that Azarenka-Konta match was in essence a final.
Yeah, I mean, you got to feel a bit sad for Mertens, who obviously lost to Naomi Osaka. She probably could have had a chance at a final. It's got to be a little.
Make of that. Do you feel like they should allow maybe Mertens to play if the opponent retires?
I mean, it's a bit of a fun because you have already lost, which makes it, I don't know. So obviously Osaka would have been in the final, so she'll still get the purse from the person who would have lost the final anyway. So I'm not sure how you would really work it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it can work based on that only.
Yeah.
But in principle, yeah. I mean, if it was just there was no money involved, I'd say go on.
Forget about it. Just to see some tennis. It would be nice to actually see the final. Do you know what I mean? I feel like for Azarenka, it's still an amazing achievement to be getting in the situation she's in, but it's not the same as actually going there and actually winning the final by actually playing tennis.
And I think it just proves as well that Azarenka has obviously been around for quite a number of years and just coming back now to the highest level that she used to be, like, say, back in 2014, she was really hitting some amazing form. Now she's really coming back to that, and she proves once again in the women's game, anyone can win one of these tournaments.
Yeah.
And that just bodes well for the US Open. But if you look down that draw, I can't even tell you who would win. I don't even have a clue. There's maybe one of 10, maybe. But that could be wrong.
I think it's wider than 10, to be honest.
Yeah, possible.
Because there's a lot of young players there, like, say, a Leila Fernandez. She probably wouldn't be in your 10, but she's someone who has a lot of potential and someone who I wouldn't put it past her pulling some results together, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
But yeah, looking at the draw, one of the results we wanted to talk, one of the fixtures we want to talk about is the British.
Yeah.
The British pair.
Been paired up. Konta and Watson are only two British hopefuls in the women's, and at least we are guaranteed a second round British person in the US Open. So, best of luck well, at the moment, it looks probably like Joe Conter stands the best chance of going through. But you never know. When it's Brit v Brit, you never know who's going to turn up on the day. And Heather Watson's a bit of a fighter, so...
Well, we saw it in the Battle of the Brits. There was a few freakish results, and
exactly.
But this is a bit of a different occasion. It's a proper match now. This is a US Open, and Conte was, in essence, one game away from winning it. So
yeah,
it just shows. Well, Cincinnati, that is. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it just shows that in the US Open, she's in the better form of the two, the better player, you could argue as well.
Well,
then we've seen
20.
Heather Watson as well playing in Acapulco. She played a brilliant tournament then as well. So anything's possible. We'll keep our eyes open and see how they all get on.
Yeah, she's not really come back to the same level of form that she had since then, unfortunately, for Heather. But we'll wait and see how that match goes. There's a couple of other interesting matches I just wanted to try and throw at you from that first round. Probably Kerber versus Tomljanovic.
Yep,
is quite an interesting one. Like that could possibly go either way. I think there's probably the main one from this draw, which I quite like the look of. We've obviously got Corey Goff there against Sevastova.
Oh,
that's
a tough opening match.
Yeah, really tough opening. They're not doing her any favours, are they? Just going to start her off really tough. So
I think Coco would take it, though, to be fair. I think she's got a bit too much for her.
She probably has. You're probably right. But it's just very interesting the way that the draws lied out. So you could have potentially Naomi Osaka. She's in the same side of the draw with Kvitova and Rybakina and Kontaveit. So you could be seeing some interesting fourth round matches in that side. And then we've got...
For me, Kontaveit's the one to watch in this tournament. I think she's
dangerous.
Dark horse. She's played quite a bit of tennis now as well since returning, and she's shown that she's good on clay and hard. She's a very versatile player, showed a lot of grit and determination, and she seems to be a bit of a winner. And I think that's what you need on the women's tour right now: someone who shows a bit of grit and determination in the crucial points. Granted, she did lose the final against Fiona Ferro. That was in Palermo.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I think she's better on hard. Her game is probably more suited to hard, and I think she's got a very good winning sort of mentality, and I think that's key in maybe beating some of the better players around her. But she's definitely capable. One to watch.
Your tip for the for the tournament?
She's my dark horse.
Is that an actual tip, or is
that's my actual dark horse tip?
All right, dark horse tip we've got there. So that's not your actual full-on tip, just a dark horse.
No. Yeah.
Okay, so
we'll do that later on.
Okay, we'll do that later on. There was another match. I just want to find it quickly, which stood out a little bit. We've got Kim Clijsters, and she's up against Alexandrova, which is a really interesting first round matchup there, because Clijsters coming back. I fancy Clijsters, to be fair. I think she could do something.
I can't call any Alexandrova matches. I've seen some crazy good tennis from her, and I've also seen some really bad tennis. She's a bit inconsistent. She's got bundles of talent, but it depends what Alexandrova turns up on the day.
Definitely. Probably my tie of the first round, is the one that stood off the page to me, is Leylah Fernandez versus Vera Zvonareva. I think that one jumped off the page at me as probably the one I'd find most entertaining out of all of them. So I look forward to seeing that. We've obviously got...
There'll be a lot of long rallies in that one, actually.
Yeah.
It'll be a good match. I think it'll be a good match to watch for spectator.
Oh, definitely
a good match for the neutral.
Yeah, so we have a look through. We've got Sabalenka. She's in the side of the draw of Kenin. And we've got in there Elise Mertens, Ons Jabeur. She's also in this side of the draw. But there could be...
I think that's the tricky side, that one.
Yeah, that one is... Yeah, there's not going to be any easy matches going through that side of the draw. So, yeah, really interesting draw there for the women's. So hard to call. But I'm going to ask you for your pick. Give us who you think your favourite pick is, and just the one outsider for the women's draw.
Well, I've already given my outsider. I'm going to stick with that. That's Anett Kontaveit.
Contavi. She's
Contavi.
seeded
my
like
outside.
12th. Yeah, that's a real.
No, I don't think. No, she's a bit of an outsider. Come on, you would never. You're not expecting her to win. I think that should qualify as.
I don't want to hear what your favourite one is now. She's the outsider.
Well, you could say this is probably more of an outsider then.
All right,
my
then.
favourite is Muguruza.
You. That's who I picked. Yeah, that's who I picked. But yeah, so we both got the same favourite pick. We both picked Muguruza as our.
You're joking.
No, as our favourite. So there's not much I can do about that.
So what's your reasoning? Your reasoning might be different to mine.
My reasoning is based on the last hardcourt tournament, and I haven't really seen Muguruza play since, but I'm hoping if she comes back in that form, I reckon she'll wipe the floor with everybody.
Well, the last time we saw her was in Doha, wasn't it? And she played a good match there. I think she lost to, maybe Kvitova. She lost in 3 sets, and it was quite a close match. And then obviously she lost the final of the last slam against Kenin. She's had a long time. She's not played though since February. So
she's a big match player though. That's the thing with her. That's my reasoning. I feel like she's a big match player, and I feel like when she comes back, she's going to pick up from where she left off. Do you want to know my outsider?
Yeah,
Azarenka.
Oh,
she's just obviously done well in this tournament. Maybe she can carry the form on.
So she's going to win an ATP Cincinnati, and then straight after that, she's going to win the US Open.
And do you want to, as we're here giving some picks, do you want to give some picks on the men's draw? We obviously did a review of the men's draw. We didn't give our picks. I know we thought was going to be victorious there, but yeah, give us your favourite and then outsider.
Okay, so I'll start with the outsider. Hopefully you allow this. It's Alex de Minaur.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that's an outsider. That can be an outsider. Yeah. Oh, I
think he's the 22nd seed or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an outsider then. But
so yeah, for me, I think we've seen what ability he has. He's recently just won the doubles that we've not spoke about at Cincinnati with Pablo Carreño Busta.
Yeah.
So he's in a bit of winning form. Granted, he's going to be now playing singles, but we've seen him do it. We know how good this guy is. We've been raving about him on the podcast for ages. We've seen him at Wimbledon last year.
Yeah.
And we like him. We just think he's a really good player and he's capable of, I think, causing a bit of an upset here. And then my big pick, my main pick, it's hard not to say Djokovic.
It is, honest. I know. That's the problem.
Like, people are going to probably say in the comments, oh, why do you not think Djokovic's going to win? I actually kind of do think he is. But just to make it a bit more interesting, I'm not going to say Djokovic, and I'm going to go for Stefano Tsitsipas.
Ooh.
That's my winner.
Interesting.
Tsitsipas and ADM for me.
Right, that's interesting. Right, get on to my... So, my main... I'm going to start with my favourite tip. I've been really impressed with him this week. I think if he just adds a little bit more to his game, he's got all of the all of the stats, all of the ability, and if he just has that slight more mental toughness, he'll get there. Roberto Batista Agut. And I think if he can just add that extra bit to his game, he's beaten Djokovic 3 times on hardcourt. Obviously, he came up short this time, but he's got something there. If anyone can beat Djokovic, I think he's one of the people. So that's the reasoning for that one. And the next one you're not going to like, but it's a very risky one. Riley Opelka, because before this injury, I don't know how his injury is, but if he stays fit, he was firing like aces left, right, and centre. And I couldn't see anybody returning. And Tsitsipas was, just about to go into a tie-break with him before he retired in that match. So you never know. You serve 1,000 aces, you might win the US Open. So that's my reasoning for that.
Fair enough.
So yeah, they're the picks.
So that's our picks. Let us know in the comments, guys, what your picks are, what you think about our ones, and who you think is going to win on the women's tour and men's tour.
Yeah, exactly. So let's move away from the US Open and talk about something which is, for us, probably more exciting than the US Open, which was 2, favourite players of the podcast coming up against each other, clashing in Italy. In Trieste, we had the hometown kid, Lorenzo Musetti, up against the phenom from Spain, Carlos Alcaraz Garcia. in what could be possibly a Grand Slam final, I think, in years to come. And this one did not disappoint. I was blown away by the standard. The stands were packed. This is how much people didn't even care if they got coronavirus to watch this match. They were literally, the stands were packed and everyone knew they were watching two future great players here. It was that good.
Mate, it broke records on the Challenger stream as well. There's so many people streaming it, trying to watch it.
I don't blame. I mean, I was one of them. So, and just to see the way it all progressed and the match it was like the final that everybody really wanted to see, but it was a semi-final. And Alcaraz, he sort of seems like the older player between two because we know him a bit more. But Musetti's 1 year older, but Alcaraz has been getting a bit more recognition. Alcaraz came out the block super fast, getting, nearly getting a double break. And Musetti, just that backhand, it just shows like such resolves to hold. And the winners that he was hitting from forehand and backhand side, you should hear the crowds there. They were really roaring every time he was hitting a winner. It was
the way Musetti played in that second set was just nothing short of breathtaking. It was incredible. It just shows why we like him so much. And
I'm going to keep putting up some of the shots as well for you whilst we're talking about this, so you can see, if you didn't get a chance to see it, you can see the standard of tennis these two youngsters were producing. Yeah, I mean, that second set, he was hitting, it's just that backhand. And he even does this crazy backhand where it's a sort of inside-out backhand where he cuts across it and it drives it into the corner. It's unbelievable. You don't even see like some of the other players, but Stan would be proud of one of these backhands as well. Yeah. But then
they're just incredibly talented players. And to be 17 and 18 years old is just amazing, really.
Oh, I was blown away.
It led up into a brilliant final where Alcaraz managed to win that game, come through it in 3 sets, and then he set up against Bonadio in the final, which is not an easy game. In Italy, Bonadio on the clay is a really good player.
Don't brush over that third set. You cannot brush over that third set. That third set was crazy. Musetti turned it up a notch and went 3-1 up in the final set. And he was suddenly incorporating volleys into it. Every time he was hitting one of these power backhands to the corner, he was rushing the net. There was a passing shot coming. He was firing volleys down. It was really great stuff. But that's when you saw the quality of Alcaraz come out. 3-1 down, final set, wins 5 games on the bounce to win the semi-final. That's how good Alcaraz Garcia is against all the Italians that were there. It was something to behold, I'd really say.
All I want to say now is please, please, please let him play in Roland Garros. We need to see him there. Now his ranking's gone up to 220 in the world after this impressive win. I think he was in the 300th before, so it's
318, I think.
Yeah, so now he's down to 220, and I'm not sure how far he is off qualifiers really, or if
I say
you've got qualifiers for French Open.
Yeah, there's qualifiers coming. They'll be happening a week before the French Open takes place. So I think that kicks off around about the 20th, 21st, something like that of September.
I just don't know why. I feel like he's going to get in through that because there's going to be so many players who are going to be missing out because of the US Open and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think
there's loads of players who are not
people aren't going to be traveling
to Europe. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so you have the benefit. It gives him a
really good chance. He's already in Europe. He's already been playing, and he's an exciting player. He will bring crowds. He will make it entertaining. He's good. He's good from a financial point as well.
As will Musetti.
At the end of the day, French Open, they want to make money. Put the best players, put the most exciting players there, and Musetti and Alcaraz, they're both there. They both should be playing in that tournament.
I see them both. If they both play that standard of tennis they were playing against each other, I see them making like 4th round or something to that level already at this early age.
What about a Nadal Alcaraz final?
Well, Nadal would probably cream him just due to power, but it's just I wouldn't want to see him do too much too soon.
I feel exactly the same. Yeah.
I just feel like media, I think it's been really handled really well from the media.
That would be too much for him. I wouldn't want him to even get to a stage like that because it's just going to be too intense for him. Maybe if you got all the way and won it.
Well, imagine. But that's the problem, though. If he was English, his career would probably already be over because of the hype that the press would have already put around him. But I think
for sure.
The Spanish press have allowing him to grow as a player, and hopefully we can see the best of it. It's obviously worked for Rafael Nadal, and he was starting at a similar age, getting those really interesting results. Hopefully we can see ATP wins coming from him, like next year, possibly.
Yeah. I'll tell you what is nice, though. A lot of people talking about him, and he's definitely on the radar of a lot of people in tennis now. I see on just my Twitter, I've never seen so many people talking about this guy, and we've been talking about him for ages now.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's good that he's been brought to the attention of people, and people appreciate what good tennis is. And if you want to watch an entertaining game and some high-level tennis, look no further than the Challenger Tour and Carlos Alcaraz Garcia.
Well, we keep saying it. We keep saying the Challenger Tour has got hidden gems, which these are... Where do you think all of the players that are now your favourite players on the ATP Tour came from? They all came from winning in the Challenger Tour first. So
that's why we need to get the travelling going, mate, and get over there and actually go to some of these challenges. Everything's been put on hold at the moment, but
I literally can't wait. The trouble is, if you go to an Alcaraz Garcia tournament, it's probably going to be packed stands these days, but might be able to slip in the press box. You never know. Might be able to get a little interview. I have to brush up on my Spanish.
So on a more sour note, we've seen the news that Benoit Paire has tested positive for coronavirus, meaning he's now out of the US Open. It's sad because his first round tie was quite an exciting one, but he's going to be replaced. I think Granollers has replaced him. And yeah, it's not good for him. Hopefully he recovers soon. He didn't really have a very good Cincinnati, but I'm sure he didn't have coronavirus then. It's just probably, I don't know, the start of it.
Yeah, he didn't win a game, so it wasn't. He wasn't looking his best, let's say. So that's just all of our thoughts and wishes go out to him to make a speedy recovery. And that's all you can hope. All right. Well, we've been talking for far too long already. Thanks to everybody who's been liking, subscribing, commenting on the videos. Don't forget, we're going to be bringing you up-to-date, probably daily coverage of the US Open and all of our reactions to all of the results over the next 2 weeks. So it's going to be a mad one, but jump on board for the ride because, yeah, we're ready for it. Just hope you are too.
Are we?
Yeah.
It's going to be a busy one. 2 weeks. It's going to be action-packed.
We're not going to have much sleep, but it's going to be good. We're going to enjoy it.
Anyway, guys, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.